Hello, my name is Lexi Fitzgerald, Wellesley class of 2022, and today I'll be chatting with Professor David Teng Olsen. Hi, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So the first question I have for you is, what did you learn as an undergrad that still influences your artistic practice today?
Yeah, so there's so many things that I learned as an undergrad. I always like to tell everybody I went to undergrad for 9 years, so I had a lot of time to to study whatever it is that I wanted to study. But during my time there, I also studied bioengineering, and I studied painting and printmaking, and just being in school for that long, I had the opportunity to like study anything that I wanted to at that point. If I was interested in like sociology, I'd take sociology. If I was interested in philosophy, I'd take philosophy. But I guess the biggest thing about undergrad for me was I had this passion to like know more about myself. I found out I was adopted when I was like right in my senior year of high school. So I was like kind of like struggling with like my identity, and whether it happened I was the way that I was because of nature or because of nurture. And so I kind of set my college career out of like answering those questions. And ultimately, as an artist, I still like struggle with these and think about these questions a lot. So and it turned out like art was the kind of the best way to explore this subject. So that's kind of what I continued to pursue long after undergrad, but definitely started in undergrad.
That's really interesting. It's sort of like what we have here at Wellesley, where you can try a lot of different things and see, what you're interested in. But that's very cool. My next question for you is, how does your teaching influence your art and vice versa?
Uh, so, you know, being in college, I was in college for so many years, and then I kind of still feel like I'm in college, even though I'm a teacher now. Um, but as you said, Wellesley is like this wonderful place where everybody gets to, kind of pick and choose from all these different subjects and learn from all these like other amazing people. And so, you as students, when you come into my classroom, for example, take like a poetry class, or you take, a history class on like post World War II Germany, you talk about, you make artwork about the subject matters that like, mean something to you. The hardest thing about being an artist is like, what do you make artwork about? Like, what are you passionate about? And at Wellesley, you have this like, wonderful opportunity to explore all these different, avenues and venues. So, everything that the students learn in their other courses, I end up benefiting about learning too. So I don't like, have to sit into my colleagues' courses, but I get to, hear about like all the amazing things they're learning in these other classes, and then the influence that they have on their artworks, and then ultimately, to mine as well. So.
Kind of segueing into this next question, but what have you learned from your students, or is there a particular thing that you remember sticks out to you?
So I thought about that a lot. That was the one question I did think about quite a bit. And actually I'd say that, it's not like what did I learn, but what haven't I learned? I mean, there's, I think the things that stand out for me is, I've definitely become a lot humbler in my time as being a teacher, and I have a lot more empathy than I think I, had, kind of going into teaching. And, the students at Wellesley, especially, they've really, opened up my kind of perspective about, what it means to be, a woman, what it means to be, a minority, what it means to come from different socioeconomic backgrounds. And, I've had like this amazing opportunity to be at Wellesley for the past 16 years now. And just, yeah, I never stop learning from you all. And I think, yeah, I feel very, very fortunate to be a lifelong learner. Hopefully the students do learn a little bit, but mostly I feel like I'm just like in class all the time.
No, I always love hearing, because I think as students, it's hard for us to sort of understand how professors play into what we learn and our learning experience. But I think it's so awesome to hear from the professor's perspective on that. That's really great. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's really cool. The next question I have for you is, the Davis mounts a faculty exhibition every 5 years. How did you decide on what to include in Q20?
Uh, so, this is I guess my third opportunity to participate, which I guess makes sense since I've been here for 15 years, is, I really look at it as an opportunity to experiment and do things that I typically wouldn't do in my, kind of like regular art career. I mean, mostly, I'm more known for like making large scale murals like all over the country, but this show at the museum, I get this opportunity to kind of like, you know, just take a chance that I typically wouldn't take, in a gallery or in like a public exhibition. So so now that I understand this, because this is my third one, I like kind of start making work for it right after, at least a few years ahead of time. So the piece that I, made in the museum right now was a piece I made specifically because I knew it was going to be at the Davis, and it was going to have like uh, the opportunity to have conversations with different students and different faculty and different staff, and just different members of like the Wellesley community. So yeah, so the piece that I made, the survival robot piece, took 3 years to make, and yeah, I just wouldn't have the opportunity. There's like no other shows or exhibitions that allow 3 years. I mean, sometimes you get like a year in advance to think about a piece, but yeah, having 3 years is pretty amazing, or 5 years in this case.
Yeah, I know the student guides and other faculty, we were walking through the Davis with Lisa Fishman of the Q20 exhibit, and it was
Uh-huh.
so amazing to see your piece. I remember she asked what we thought Bitcoin was, and although we all had an idea of it, nobody could really like articulate it fully, but it was such an amazing and like awe-inspiring piece. We all really enjoyed it, and I know that obviously because of COVID, the Q20 exhibition, it wasn't open as long and it wasn't able to be seen by as many people, but I encouraged everybody to come check it out because your piece is so amazing.
That's
Um,
great.
it was wonderful. And my final question for you is, what are you working on now?
I'm actually working on a couple different things. I have a couple mural commissions that are coming up, so that's exciting. Um, but I guess the latest project is kind of interesting. It's I'm working like on an AI project that kind of introduces music to your kind of favorite videos. And it sounds like kind of like a like a Ken Burns effect that you'd find, but it's not like that. I'm really looking. Really looking at music, and like particularly like people's favorite songs as an opportunity to like really understand like a person's um, kind of personality or upbringing or whatever more. So it's kind of vague. I can't really like talk too much about it, but that's like a project that I'm working on a lot right now. And then I always have like a bunch of projects, and then I'm also working on Survival Robot 2.0. One thing that I didn't foresee when I was making that piece was a global pandemic. So there was like kind of like an interesting flaw in my robot. So I'm kind of continuing on that project, looking at more blockchain technology and its ability to kind of secure a future in whatever way, shape, or form that ends up being. So.
That sounds amazing. I want to thank you so much for speaking with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Lexi, and I hope you're having a nice semester and things are going well for you.
Yeah, thank you.